Hello and welcome to Season 8, Episode 5 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kev, and coming up on today's episode, we've got live com matches at home to Bradford in the Championship and Blackpool in the FA Cup. But before we get into that, we've got an undefeated streak to have a look at. I've not lost a game since the last one you watched. So you were last with me for the Charlton game. We had the two draws, didn't we? We drew against Crystal Palace, we drew against Charlton, and I wasn't sure whether or not to put the Stoke game in there. If you follow me on Twitter, you'll have seen that the Stoke game went quite well. We won 5-0, and it was the day Keziah Sterling became a man, because he scored 4 goals in the space of 25 minutes at the end of that match. And he's just in an absolutely ridiculously hot run of form. Johnny Vaughan got another one after 6 minutes. It looked like a fairly close game up until that point. But Sterling just went nuts on the hour mark. Got himself 4 goals. He's now got 19 goals in 27 games this season. He is comfortably our top goal scorer. He's closing in on a goal a game. This is a lad who hadn't really played up front for me until this season. And we've suddenly got 2 really top-level Championship strikers up front for us. And it doesn't matter that Thierry Ambrose is having a slightly iffy run of form for him. I mean, he's still scoring a lot of goals. I think he's got 13 goals in 27 games, so he's still on course to get 25 for the season. Sterling's scoring even more, though. We could have 2 25-goal strikers this season. We could have the 2 top scorers in the division. How are we not going to get promoted with all that going on? It's brilliant. After Stoke, we drew away to Swindon, then we beat Barnsley 4-0 away, and we drew away at Reading, and we beat Rotherham 2-0 at home. So it's fairly safe to say things are going quite well at the moment. If we look at the league table, so we're 26 games in, we're now only 3 points behind Bournemouth, who are top of the league. We've got a better goal difference than them, thanks in large part to Keziah Sterling, who's now the 3rd highest goal scorer in the division. I thought he was a winger at the start of this season. I'm an idiot, clearly. Lasse Viggen Christensen is the top player in the division. He did this for the start of last season, but we weren't playing well as a team. That was the first time we had him in the roaming playmaker role. He's now back in that position, and we're halfway through the season, and he's averaging nearly 8. I mean, that, to me, that's unheard of. 25 games in, and he's averaging 7.94. And it shows how other teams playing, because he's only had 4 man-of-the-match performances in all that time. He's only scored 1 goal, only got 3 assists, and he's still averaging nearly 8. It's ridiculous, and he is finally the player I was so excited to sign when I first arrived at Ipswich, and he's an absolute bargain at £625,000. Really encouragingly as well, we're actually closer to Bournemouth, who are top of the league, than QPR in 3rd place are to us. It's going all right, and I'm getting a bit jittery now because we're going into kind of a make or break time. The transfer window opens between today's 2 games. You can see we're £5 million in debt. We've got no money to spend. We've got a little bit of wage budget, but nothing massively significant. And I am a little bit worried because we've got insecure finances. So, how much pressure are the board going to be feeling? Because if someone comes in and offers £5 million for Keziah Sterling, or £5 million for Thierry Ambrose, and the board look at it and think, oh, that clears our debt, are they going to sell players out from under me now? I mean, the projection is we're going to be £24 million in debt at the end of the season. What that doesn't factor in is we've got a good chance of getting promoted, and if we get promoted, forget about that. We're going to be in the black again. But we need to keep the team together to stay to keep the promotion push going. I don't think I plan to bring anyone in unless I'm forced to by player sales. So it's a little bit of a different transfer window to the ones you're used to seeing from me, because I don't expect anyone to arrive unless players go first. It would be quite nice to be able to get rid of Tommy Orr and Jan-Erik Delanley. They're both back on the bench today, more to do with the fact that we've had a couple of injuries. Sterling is injured, Hughes is injured, so we're having to bring in a couple of players who haven't really featured much at all this season. Don't worry about Sterling, he's only out for a couple of weeks. Yeah, he's going to be out probably in time for the FA Cup game next weekend. But I'd quite like to sell the 2 of them. You can see we've got a bid in for Delaney at the moment. It's not massive, bearing in mind we were turning down bids of £3-4 million for him a year ago. I think the bid that's in is I mean, where is it? Yeah, £500,000 to a team I've never heard of in Mexico. But, you know, gets him off the wage bill. He's on quite a lot of money. So he's earning £25,000 a week. If he goes, not only does that bring in another £500,000 into the coffers, which it's not massively significant, but it means we've then got £50,000 of a wage budget to play with, which means we could bring in a really good loan player or maybe bring in somebody on loan. So whether I'm going to toy with that or not, I'm not really sure. If we can get both Delaney and Orr off the books, I'd probably look to bring in another player. Probably a proper central midfield player, because we sold Danny Drinkwater right at the last minute in the transfer window. And if we have an injury to any of these three players, we've only really got Emmy Hughes as backup. We've had to play Dominic Ball in midfield a couple of times. That's not really ideal. So probably bringing a central midfielder, and in an ideal world bringing a centre-back cover as well. But I'm really kind of clutching at straws trying to find someone to sign at that point. So the transfer window, rather than me bringing people in, is going to be all about keeping hold of what we've got. And if we can do that, I'm finally quite confident that this might be a promotion season. So let's get into today's game. Who are we playing? We're home against Bradford. This is the team that we're going to be going with. So it's pretty much our first choice team, other than the fact that Keziah Sterling is injured. So Pedro Gomez comes in to play as the poacher. Other than that, this is standard. This is our team that's been playing so very well. But obviously, Sterling has been scoring a lot of the goals. But Ambrose has been playing well. I mean, he's by no means having a poor season. He's just not having an incredible season like Keziah Sterling is. And you know, he's still on course to score as many goals as he had in previous years. He's playing as well as he did last year. So it's nice to have a proper strike partnership. And this is going to give Gomez a chance to see what he can do, see if he can get into the side. And the idea was for him to play the trequartista role, but Johnny Vaughan's been playing really well there. I mean, he's got 7.68 in his last 5 games. So this is fun. I like it like this. It hasn't been like this in Non-League to Legend for a little while. And it really is good fun. Right. Let's submit the teams. Yeah, I know Gomez isn't match fit. It's because he's not been playing, believe it or not. I see, again, we've got teams with players who shouldn't be in this division in them. And we've got Calla at the back, who obviously we sold in the summer to Bradford. So it'd be interesting to see how he can handle Thierry Ambrose. We really do want to win today. Bournemouth are starting to stutter just a little bit, because we've not exactly been winning every game since you were last with me, and I think they were like 8 points clear of us at the end of the last episode. So they're having one of those little mid-season blips where if we're going to catch them, assuming they're not just going to fly down the league now, but if we're going to catch them, it feels like it needs to be now. And the prospect of being anywhere near the top of the league at this point of the season is very exciting. But come on, we need a win today. It's kind of why I'm showing you an FA Cup game as well as just the one league game, because we tend to lose or draw when they're live com games. So I don't care if we get knocked out of the FA Cup. It's a distraction. What I don't want is 2 poor performances in the league. And there you go. We picked him out at the start of the match. Federico Macheda. I don't even know how you say it, but I've heard of him. He was at Man United, wasn't he? Shouldn't be playing in this division, and he scored against. It's only his 7th goal of the season, to be fair, so he's not been that good, unless it's his 5th game or something. But we're missing Keziah Sterling at the moment. We've only had 4 shots, only one of them on target. We're just missing his absolute lightning pace up there, and it's not something Gomez has got. And we don't really have another player who has that, who can just really stretch defences and put pressure on the way Sterling has been. Come on, lads, we need to get into this. We can't be losing against Bradford. Where are they even in the league? They're down in 16th place. This is not a team that we should be losing a football match to. Christensen's heard me raving about him again. He's not doing anything special today. That doesn't look like an average rating of 8, does it? He's picked up a yellow card as well, as have half had offence now. So there's a red card coming as well. Oh, now we're 2-0 down. Why do I bother bigging up our team whenever I get positive? Whenever I say stupid things like, oh yeah, I think we're going to get promoted now, it's all going really well, Premier League, here we come. Oh, look, we're losing 2-0 at home to Bradford. Brilliant. Oh, good, they've got a flat back 5 now. That's going to be easy to break down. For goodness sake. Right, Zubeldia isn't having a good game, but doesn't care because he knows we don't have any more midfielders to bring on. So I'm going to bring Dominic Ball on just to make the point of, look, just because there's no midfielders on the bench doesn't mean you're safe. Have a better game next game. Thierry Ambrose, another one. Just because you're the only complete striker at the club I'm still going to bring Maraglia on for you. What I've been doing, actually, when I've been making that change recently, is not changing them to deep lying forward and just keeping them as a complete forward. And then they don't want to play there. My theory is, let them practice. I'd rather they turned into complete forwards. So that's what Maraglia is going to be doing for the rest of this game. There's been goals that have come from that, so it's not disastrous. You know, they weren't... I don't think at any point this season have we had anyone come off the bench, go alongside Sterling playing as a deep line forward and score a goal. So Maraglia has had a couple when he's come on and done it. Gomez has played there as a complete forward and scored a goal, I think, as well. So seems to work better than deep line forward does. But no, Gomez is injured as well. Kirk can play up front, so he can come on. May as well let Maraglia do what he wants to do, though. Kirk can go there. Oh, this has been a complete disaster. What a poor game. We're better than this. I don't understand why this has happened today. What is going on with my hair as well? See, I'm getting flustered and now my hair's gone floppy. What is this? This is why I shouldn't have a camera. Get rid of that. There we go. Need a haircut. If anyone knows a good hairdresser's that's open in the evenings in the Peterborough area, let me know. We've pulled a goal back. Kirk. There you go. Playing as a complete forward. Told you it works. Managerial genius. Now we just need another one. We've got 2 minutes to equalise, and then our long unbeaten run is maintained. I should never have used the words unbeaten run before the match. That was the kiss of death, really. But Maraglia's through here, and he's offside. Sterling would have scored there because he would have held his run because he would have known he'd still make it. Well, that was an epic disappointment. We should have done better than that. That 3-point gap that was oh so exciting is now 6 points. The 4-point gap that we were quite happy with is now down to 3 points. The better goal difference, that's a thing of the past. Can I re-record the intro? Is that no? Let's go and play a game in the FA Cup so I don't ruin the league form too much. Right, important transfer goings on before we get into the next match. Firstly, Jan-Erik Delanley has gone. He's gone for £500,000 to Monarcas Morelia. The very first thing I did when he went is I went and had a look to see how Rune Rowe was getting on, the lad who we had on loan from Southampton for the second half of last season. Well, it turns out he's not played a game for them, despite them not letting us have him back this year, because he was going to be part of their first team. Well, he hasn't been. He's not played a game for them. So we've put in a loan offer for him. We can't offer him the 90% of his 30 grand a week wages at Southampton want, even though the money we've just saved from letting Delanley go would in theory allow that. But what I have done is a cheeky little 50% plus a loan fee. Southampton have accepted it. We're waiting for Rowe to accept. We've been waiting for a week. I'm a little bit worried he's not going to want to come back, which would be mental because he had a great half a season here last season and would be the final piece of the jigsaw. He's the missing thing that we need. If we can bring him back in, then I'm certain we're going straight up. The board have thrown a potential spanner in the works, though, because as soon as Delanley went, I guess to try and make sure I didn't go and do anything stupid like that, they've absolutely slashed our wage budget from what was 450,000 down to 330,000. So we're now, despite trimming the wage budget even more, and the wage budget is lower than it's been in my whole time at the club, we're now somehow £70,000 a week over our wage budget. Yes, the financial situation is awful. It feels like they're trying to force me to sell there. We'll try and get rid of Tommy Orr, which will bring it down to sort of 370s and about 30 grand a week. It's not going to get any lower than that, and I'm going to try and sneak Rowe in as well. What it does mean is if we don't get Rowe, I don't think there's going to be any option of bringing anyone else in. It kind of needs to come in now, or we're not going to get anyone at all. So fingers crossed he's going to want to come. So getting into today's game, I'm rotating as much as I can, really. We don't really have much in the front six that we're able to rotate. Emmy Hughes is injured. We don't have any other central midfielders available at the club apart from Dominic Ball, who sometimes plays there, but I'm rotating him in at the back. So it's our first choice central midfield. Maraglia comes in to play behind the front two, and that's Ambrose and Sterling, getting them a bit more game time together again. Sterling coming back to fitness, Ambrose just because he's the only complete forward at the club. What I could do probably is give Thierry Ambrose a break and put Sebastian Kirk in on that, just say and push Maraglia forward, but I'm not gonna. I want Ambrose to play himself back into form, and a game against lower league opposition might be just the way to do that. The one area that's a little bit odd is our back four. We're mixing this up as much as possible. So Tavernier comes in to play at right back. Maloney comes in at left back. That would be Knudsen, but in fact that will be Knudsen. Why am I messing around like this? Let's bring Knudsen in for Emmanuel. Give Emmanuel a rest. And we'll do that. That just makes more sense. I don't know why I didn't do that the first time. There has been a £3.5 million bid from Bournemouth for Emmanuel as well, who I've promised will let him go to Bournemouth at the end of the season. That was when they were offering £1.5 million in the summer. I was expecting him to kick off when I turned down £3.5 million. He hasn't. But there's potential money there in the summer if we don't go up. Him and Ambrose combined, it's going to be a £15-20 million kitty. So either way, at the end of this season, the financial troubles go away. So I wish the board would cut me a little bit of slack, let me bring Rowe in, or anyone, stop the pressure to sell, and just let us try and get promoted. Because whatever happens, end of the season, money worries go away. So frustrating. Let's get into this game. Blackpool are rubbish, so hopefully we'll batter them. That's my proper technical analysis of what's about to happen. I don't even know what division they're in. I'm not playing Gomez because I forgot he exists when I was rotating the side. I probably should be in somewhere, you would think. Is he even on the bench? I think I did just completely forget about the existence of him. Let's just have a look to see what league Blackpool are in, because I feel like it's something that might be relevant to the game. Is there anything I can press on here to let me see that? I don't think there is. We'll find out at some point. It'll probably become relevant. Let's go and score a couple of goals first. Let's play guess the division Blackpool are in. We'll guess based on how well we play against them. So Knudsen with the cross in. Ball, 48 seconds on the clock. We're 1-0 up. So my initial guess is going to be League 2. If we score again in the first 5 minutes, I'll go and have a proper look. It doesn't look like we're going to. There's only 20 seconds. No. 15 seconds. No. There you go. We're never going to know. We'll have a look after the match. I think they're probably a League 1 side. That's what they are. Is that what they are in real life? League 1, League 2? Can't even remember. They might be League 2 actually. Who knows? If you're a Blackpool fan, let me know in the comments. And I'm sorry. 2-0. Hey, James Tavernier. Remember him? He was awesome for a little while. I mean, he might well be back in the side before too long. I've got a horrible feeling if Bournemouth come in and offer $5 million for Emmanuel, the board are just going to say, yeah, that's going to clear our debt. Let's let him go now. Forget this promotion push. Let's sell him to our title rivals, one of our best players. Don't do that, board. That would really upset me. Come on, let's get another couple of goals and then we'll take off Ambrose. Just to give him a rest, or maybe take off Sterling because he's obviously just coming back from a slight knock. Might even take them both off. I'm assuming I've got Gomez on the bench. Ambrose has made it 3-0. That's why he played, to get him a goal. It's been a little while. So that hopefully gets a bit of confidence back into him, so he can come off at half time now if he's not completely fit. Although to be honest, it looks like if anyone's struggling, it's Keziah Sterling. We are playing again in 3 days' time, so we do have to start thinking. We're 3-0 up at half time. We need to start thinking of the game coming up in a couple of days and keeping players fit for that. We won't fiddle at the moment, but I might make a substitution earlier than my normal 68, 70 minute mark, perhaps even on the hour mark. We'll perhaps bring a couple of players off. I mean, Sterling's tired and he's not even having a good game, so I think he is going to come off now. Hopefully, it's just got a little bit of match fitness back into his legs. It looks like I did remember Pedro Gomez exists and put him on the bench. We'll take off Henry Lansbury as well. And I guess Casey Symes is a youth player who looks like he might be okay at some point, but he can come in, play central midfield. So we'll bring him on for Lansbury. We'll just shift them all around a little bit. No, we'll do that. You can be the box-to-box midfielder then. Magic, that'll do for now. And then we might make another substitution at some point before the end of the game, if I remember. But doing everything a little bit different, it's all confusing. So, the second half's been a bit dull, hasn't it? Did we have any guesses about what division Blackpool are in? No? Guess we'll find out in a minute. Oh, a highlight! Hurrah! Here we go. Adam Chickson at left back for them. He played for me in my Up the Posh series, my first YouTube save. If you haven't seen that yet, check it out. I liked Adam Chickson. He was on loan for about 2 years. From Brighton, I think. good player. Why is he playing for Blackpool? Obviously not so good in FM16 as he was in FM15. I feel like we should have won this game more convincingly than 3-0 because we started really well. We did dominate, and I think from the moment we started fiddling, we just kind of switched off a little bit. Right, we'll have a quick look to see what division Blackpool are in because it is interesting. Because we did completely outclass them. So if they're a League One side, that's all right. I quite like that. Right, are they not there? Do I not know where Ipswich is in the alphabet? Yeah, there you go. Blackpool, League 2, 8th in League 2. So I suppose, really, we should have beaten them a little bit more convincingly than we did. But that'll do. That's fine. Has Rose signed? No. Will he sign before the next episode? And are we going to be able to keep hold of all our players? It's going to be a difficult transfer window, and I'm not looking forward to it. If you've enjoyed today's episode, make sure you pop a like on there for me. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the conclusion to the transfer window and hopefully a promotion push. And thank you very much for watching.